guys, another Fire Emblem update. I did just recently play a mission that was pretty hard. It was chapter 17. It involved traps and a lot of ninjas, which I am not a giant fan of because they can hit you from they can hit you a lot with a lot of different characters on one of yours, and they can weaken it with their attack. So I didn't like that. And there was a lot of like doors moving up and down, and there was times my party got separated, and I think my second or third time I was able to get through it. But there were definitely a few times in that successful playthrough that I thought I was just going to lose. There was a time where stuff got separated accidentally and I couldn't pull them back together, but it was okay. There was a character in there that was your ally that was moving around, and I really thought he was going to die so many times, but he ended up doing pretty well. So I was glad. I don't think I got anything out of him not dying. I don't really know, but I was glad to see him survive. I am to the point where I'm starting to get some characters becoming married and their children revealing themselves, which brings up the point of I don't think it's the same exact mechanic as the last game. In Awakening, all the kids were attached to the female characters, and their husband, I suppose, determined kind of what they were and what different abilities they had. In this one, the first marriage I had was Effie and Arthur, and it ended up being Arthur's kid that the Paralogue was attached to. He has a little Robin to his Batman. So obviously, they're not always attached to the female character besides for the couple main characters. I did have Azura and Corin get married, and they both had kids. So right now I am looking at choices of Chapter 18, 3 different Paralogues, and another base defense mission. So it looks like I have a lot of opportunities to advance some of the characters that are getting left behind, because that's definitely a thing that's happening now. It's a hard game. There's certain times where you just can't use these characters or they're just going to die. So these are definitely going to be missions that my like characters like Silas or a couple of the swords people are definitely going to be able to get some experience and become more useful. So definitely glad that that is happening. I have had a couple I've been able to use the Master Seal on and evolve. Effie, I changed from a knight who I used all the time to a general because I basically needed a stronger version of what she was doing. I have used her extensively in the ninja mission and other missions, especially paired up with Arthur. She hits really hard and has really high defense, so that is a good thing. Niles, I evolved. That one was a little bit more of a question because it was a couple different classes, one of which was an old class and one of which was kind of a new class. His choices, he was a rogue, I think, basically a bow guy that's able to pick locks. He was able to evolve into a bow knight, which is an archer on horse that can attack with swords as well. I usually don't use it that much. I think back in the day I had one I used pretty prominently, but I don't feel like they're as good coming from an archer evolving into a bow knight. I don't really think they're good hand to hand as much. And I kind of have him as a unit that's really fast, that wants to hit twice and is really good against magic units. So I did decide to go the adventurer route to give him some more resistance and just kind of, basically I was upgrading him in the way I used him. He does have the ability now to use stave, so he can heal now. I definitely like having that secondary option of healing as well as attacking, I think. Especially when like mages evolve, or mages level up, or these guys level up, it just gives you more flexibility, and I'm able to heal this guy right now without getting into trouble. And that's what's going on with Fire Emblem. Basically in this part of the game I'm going to hope to get a bunch of new younger characters and level them up, and they'll probably replace some of the ones that weren't working so well, but I don't know how many characters I'm going to need by the end of this game. Usually the mid-teens is kind of like the number of characters you need to face the last mission, so we'll see how this one works. I have a lot of characters so far, so I don't know how many I'm going to use.